Mr. President, it is 7 o'clock whenever you are ready.
Everybody ready? Good evening. The time is now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting of the Belait City Council to order. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call, please?
All 7 councilors are present.
Thank you. Next item is Pledge of Allegiance. May we all stand at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no special orders of the day and announcements. Under item 4 this evening, public hearings. Item 4A is consideration of ordinance number 3713, amending the comprehensive plan's future land use map for the property located at 2030 Porter Avenue and 2 adjacent lots in the town of Beloit. This is first reading.
Community Development Director Julie Christensen. No, it's not.
I'll get it.
Not yet. There you go.
Yay. JJGJ Wellness Holdings LLC has applied for this amendment to the future land use map of the city's comprehensive plan for 2030 Porter Avenue in the city of Beloit from planned mixed use to general industrial, and for the 2 adjacent lots to the south that are located in the town of Beloit from single family residential urban to general industrial. This is related to a proposed redevelopment of the surface parking lot and vehicle storage lot located at 2030 Porter Avenue into an industrial service-related building with offices and shop space for local contractors. Also on your agenda tonight is a request for annexation for the 2 vacant lots. This will help add some tax base to the city of Beloit. It'll be a nice new building being added by this company in an area that is already currently industrial. Plan Commission recommended approval 7-0 of this comprehensive plan amendment.
Thank you. At this time, the public hearing is now open. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor or against this item please come forward at this time? Second call. Third call. The public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion to lay this item over?
I so move.
Moved by Forbeck, second by Dunkin. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Item 4B is consideration of ordinance number 3716, amending the zoning district map of the city of Beloit from M2 General Manufacturing District to C3 Community Commercial District for the property located at 1555 Willowbrook Road. This is first reading.
Community Development Director Julie Christensen again.
1555 Willowbrook Road was most recently used for the shopper, community shopper, and has been vacant for some time. First Community Credit Union is buying this building to locate a future branch location here. The property is currently zoned M2 General Manufacturing District. They are recommending a change to C3 Community Commercial District to allow for a financial institution. This Plan Commission reviewed this on July 7th and voted unanimously to recommend approval of this rezoning. This is on your agenda for public hearing and first reading.
Thank you. At this time, the public hearing is now open. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor or against this item please come forward at this time? Second call. Third call. The public hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion to lay this item over?
So moved.
Motion by Preschel. Is there
I'll
a second?
second.
Second by Blakely. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 5 is public hearing, or public comments.
We've reached a portion of the agenda where members of the public may come forward and speak to the council about any issues that may be coming before us. Council may not act on any of these items, but we may refer a staff member to that speaker if needed. Please refrain from any personal attacks, and you'll have 3 minutes. Clerk is not here. I was going to see if there's any emails sent in, so we'll just hold on for a second. Madam Clerk, were there any emails submitted?
Yes, there were. There were 2 emails submitted. One topic. It is from, I believe, Bill Dorr. It says, the subject is traffic calming. This is our attempt to set up a meeting between our district and city staff and city members to discuss and put into motion our concerns regarding traffic calming. We have started an email list to keep our neighbors informed. Attached is a list of 7 pages of signatures. The top of the signatures that I received says, "We, the undersigned, are asking the city to start a traffic review on traffic calming in our district. Park Avenue has become more dangerous because speeding cars travel well beyond the posted limit and continue to increase in the volume of traffic. The existing stoplights on Park and Woodward once controlled the intersection because it served as a thoroughway for Highway 81 and as a school crossing. That setting of circumstances no longer exists. We believe that a stop sign posted at Woodward could replace the traffic signal currently in place. We would also suggest that a 4-way stop sign at Clarion Park be added to create a safer corner for the daycare and college students. We also endorse the SLAT's proposal to add bike lanes across Park Avenue for safety and convenience. Our aim is to support the idea that will bring traffic calming without moving the problem to other streets in our district." I'm not sure exactly the number of signatures that are here, but I will pass them on. And that is the only email.
Okay. Did anyone submit a form to speak tonight?
I have one person who registered to speak, and that is Teresa Tia Johnson, 1621 Indian Road.
Tia Johnson, 1621 Indian Road. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the worst is yet to come, affecting our children's and our grandchildren's lives much more than our own. A USA Today article states that 2050 could be the start of the climate apocalypse if action isn't taken today. This is bothersome because in 2050, I may not still be around, but my 2 young adult children will still be younger than I am today. Please consider this. How old will your children, your grandchildren, or other heirs be in 2050? The threat from climate change is real, it is here, it is getting worse. Just recent news demonstrates our planet is suffering from climate change. Just to mention a few, Western states and Canada are experiencing record-breaking heat waves and wildfires. Droughts have forced farmers to leave fields fallow and have limited amount of electricity generated in areas. The recent flooding in eastern states hardly compares to the catastrophic flooding in Germany and Belgium. And we can't forget the winter storm of Texas, leaving millions of homes and businesses without power, causing several deaths. The strain of climatic disaster results in increased economic costs for us all, which can bring about political and social unrest. While I applaud your goal of carbon neutrality by 2040, you must take courageous steps to be more than carbon neutral. We must strive to be free of fossil fuel emissions. We can't plant enough flowers and trees to change our current course of global warming. We must all be involved in the effort to fight climate change. More importantly, these efforts must be proportional to one's ability to enact widespread change and to one's current carbon footprint. In your strategic plan, make climate change the highest priority. Beloit has been fortunate to avoid climatic disaster, but we are all vulnerable and all affected. You have the power to embed climate action into the city's ordinances, ensuring every Beloiter is doing their part. One suggestion is to have free public transportation. I hope all will view these recent climatic events as the wake-up call they are. Matthew 5:5 reads, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." With these global emissions rates, inheriting this earth won't be a blessing. Thank you.
Would anyone who did not sign up would like to come forward today?
sign up, sorry about that. Next time I will. Bill Dorr, 836 Church Street. And I guess it wasn't passed to you, but I had 2 more, so it's up to like 69 people in 2 weeks. And what we're asking for, and I have a representative from Church Street, which is myself, Park Street, Dan Stoffer, we're Harrison Avenue and then Wisconsin Avenue. And at this time, there's 2 more people, one from the daycare and one from Rock County Christian School that'll represent the group as a whole. So what we're looking to do is, I've got their emails as well, was to just update everybody to see if we can have a conversation about what's going on Park. And our concerns presently are the speed of traffic and the flow of traffic that's going through our neighborhood. And our future concern is the stadium traffic. And I was down at the post office today and I pulled out my trusty phone here, and it gives me 3 options to get to, like, let's say White Avenue, Milwaukee Road. I can go up Bluff Street and then hit Prairie or Portland and go down. I can take 51 to White and out to White in Milwaukee, or I can go down Broad Street to Park Avenue up to Bushnell onto Milwaukee Road. Now, this great thing with my wife and I, we travel. I'm always looking, and and if you really look, well, I can take Park Street and go all the way to White Avenue. I can take Wisconsin to White Avenue. I can take a lot of different ways for people to get through. And at this time, it was brought to my attention from basically Park Avenue with their concern of the amount of traffic and the speed. So in turn, I said, look, I don't want you to push it onto other streets, so we'll all work together. In the meantime, people from Milwaukee Street and Central also want to talk about this. So our idea is just, can we have a meeting to discuss maybe some options? And then I guess if we're playing tennis, I've just served it into your court. So let's just see what we can do from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
And then here's someone from Park Avenue that did. I don't know if you want to say anything or not, but he's also was one of them.
I moved to Beloit from Ohio back in 2018, and the traffic is bad, but it seems to be getting much worse there. And I actually bought a radar gun there to try to be able to find out for myself, and pretty much everyone speeds, but I understand that 25 miles an hour is very hard to be able to do. I'm not trying to be unreasonable, but it's pretty extreme, I must say, for a lot of people, especially young folks, motorcycles doing wheelies through there. And also the buses, the transit buses are speeding regularly. And I'm not trying to be hard on them. I understand they probably have a schedule to keep, but we just want to make sure it's safe. And we want to make sure that, especially down by the Christian school, down by the daycare, and also where I live right there at Chapin, and that is safe. So I ask for you to please give some consideration for this. Thank you.
And before you step away, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Oh, yes, my name is Rod Bond, B-O-N-D, and I live at 710 Park Avenue.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak tonight? Second call. Third call. Public comment is now closed.
Item 6 is the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point on the agenda.
Any council member like anything removed from the consent agenda?
I'd like to remove 6G.
6G has been removed from the consent agenda. Would any other council member like anything else removed from the consent agenda? If not, the consent agenda consists of 6A through 6F and 6H and I. Can I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Moved by Blakely. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Keys. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 6G is consideration of Resolution 2021-103 establishing public information procedures for Project C2122 Henry Avenue resurfacing.
I believe we have Public Works Director Laura Williamson here tonight.
Council President Anderson, if I may, while Director Williamson is getting prepared, we were going to tag team this, if you will.
Oh, okay, sure.
So, Henry Avenue between Riverside Drive and Royce is scheduled for construction yet this year. And the scope of that project will include resurfacing the roadway, limited curb and gutter repair, the addition of on-street bike lanes, and some new sidewalk ramps. An appropriate public input is critical throughout any major infrastructure project. The current public participation portion of Chapter 11 is quite dated. In fact, we were able to conduct some research, and the most recent time this section was altered was in 1995. Surely social media and other communication outlets have become much more dominant since that time, and we want to be sure that we are appropriately communicating with the public and not limiting ourselves. And also, some of the timelines for traditional mail aren't exactly the same today as they used to be. We recognize the need to completely rework this chapter of our ordinances. With this major project coming forward, though, we wanted to make sure to appropriately address public input and communication, public information meetings, producing fact sheets that are shared on social media and in other venues, and be very clear about the expectations for this project in particular. This project has been divided into two phases. Our hope was to do the entire thing all at once. State funding for the second portion of this project will not be allocated until 2023, so we have some limitations, and would have separate public improvement or public input opportunities for both segments of the project. So again, we want to be very clear about what we are doing and understand that it is somewhat different than what Chapter 11 currently stipulates. Director Williamson and our city engineer is also here to respond to any questions you may have, but just wanted to lay out the intention of this proposed resolution.
Thank you. Before we get to any questions, can I have a motion to approve? Moved by Duncan, second by Preschel. Any discussion?
I just wanted to, bring this out of the consent agenda so people would be on people's radar that we're moving forward to it, and we're trying to make sure the information gets out there, and that it has changed in scope since last year's budget process, where we were going to combine them into the one single project. So there'll be some inconvenience on Henry Avenue for 2 years in a row, but it'll be great when it's done. This is an area that really needs to be addressed, and I think anybody who lives in Beloit knows that's been a long-awaited project to get something done. And Royce Avenue, for those who don't know, is just a little west of the train tracks right now, so that's quite an extensive area. It's a long ways. So the next phase will be, did you say 23? I thought it was 22. You said 23, didn't you? So yeah, okay, that's another reason I keep thinking it's a year earlier. Anyway, that's why I brought it up, and I'm just glad that we're going to get this information out there in as many ways, as modern ways as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
I just want to echo what Councilor Preschel said, and then to also thank the staff for their work on this, and how I know the residents are going to be happy once this is done, but it's nice too that all these always fit in with our strategic goals for the city of Belait. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilor Forbeck?
Well, I just have to say that as a citizen who drives that road several times a day. I couldn't be more delighted that we are going to be able to do this. At the same time, I know that citizens there need to be very aware of what's going to go on. And very often to get a big improvement, we're going to need to sort of hold our breath for a little bit. But thanks, everybody. It's going to be a good project to get done.
Thank you. Any discussion? Councilor Levy?
For Director Williamson, if I could just,
Mike's up.
I did see where it said solicit input from residents along Henry Avenue. So I just want to be clear for the residents that if they come forward and submit information or questions, will that change the project, or is that helping to develop the project? Because I want to make sure that we're clear. If a resident comes forward, you know what I mean, and we're already moving forward, that it could be informational versus come in and try to change the whole project. Because I think sometimes when we do projects, citizens come forward and think, instead of just viewing it for here's what it's going to look like, they may want to change it. But I just wanted you to, if you could expound on that a little bit.
It is for informational purposes at this point. It would be sharing the construction schedule, how lanes may be changing through the construction zone, and the impacts that it will have. Construction is always, it can be at times inconvenient, so we would be explaining that to the residents and traffic traveling through the corridor. But the design is underway.
And that's why I wanted you kind of to explain it, so if they come forward, they're not coming saying, if I don't like it, I would go to the city and say, we want you to change all of this. So I wanted to just make sure that we were clear.
Correct. It is for informational purposes, to keep the public informed through various informational networks, primarily because things have changed from when the code was originally written a number of years ago. So we're trying to stay updated with that to make sure that the public is aware of how traffic patterns will be in the area.
Okay, thank you.
City Manager Luther?
I just wanted to add that it may not apply to this particular project, but there are times when we're designing road improvement projects where input can alter design. An example I think of is in an area where there may be some very mature trees and we are installing a public sidewalk. It is not the most efficient way to install a sidewalk, but we will often try to save some of those mature trees. Often you receive that input from nearby or neighboring property owners or residents who walk that area frequently. This isn't relevant to the specific project we're talking about right now, but there are ways that the public can provide input that will tweak or alter to some degree. Whether or not we move forward is not an issue or a question to be debated. The street has to be reconstructed. But this is also an area where we're working very much in partnership with adjacent property owners who will be impacted by construction and who have some concerns about where the pathway, the bike path, multimodal path, is going to be located. And so we're making sure to reach out to those stakeholders, if you will, to make sure that there are no surprises to the extent that we can prevent them. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Just had one other comment just for the public. Also, our communications director, Sarah Locke, does a really good job at really reaching the media outlets to let the community know about the various projects and the construction as far as where they're at. So that's all I wanted to mention. So, thank you.
Any other discussion on this item? Not. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7 is licenses. 7A is consideration of Resolution 2021-96 for a new Class B beer and a Class B intoxicating liquor license for B&C Sports Bar LLC, doing business as B&C Sports Bar, located at 1414 Cranston Road, Byron Matthews, agent. You have before you this evening basically the sale of the Gophers Filling Station location at 1414 Cranston Road. And the applicant provided a complete application, and the current filling station owner has put a letter on file agreeing to relinquish their license pursuant to the approval here tonight. The agent and owners are here should you have any question, and the ABLCC recommended this for approval 5-0 at their last meeting.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Moved by Forbeck, second by Levy. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7B is consideration of Resolution 2021-88, approving a transfer of liquor license and amendment to the premise description for the Class B beer and Class B intoxicating liquor license for Geronimo Sports and Entertainment Group doing business as Beloit Snappers Baseball. This is taking that license from 2301 Skyline Drive to 217 Sherland Avenue. Jeffrey E. Whiteman, agent. Again, you've seen a lot of paperwork coming through on, the change of ownership of them, and they've started their season, and now they're excited to be opening, and they'll need to move that license over to the Sherland Avenue, so that is the formality that you're seeing here. And Mr. Whiteman is here should you have any questions. ABLCC recommended this for approval 5-0 at their last meeting.
Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Preschel, second by Dunkin. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Moving on to ordinances. Ordinance 8A is consideration of ordinance number 3714, amending the zoning district map from temporary R1A single-family residential district to permanent R1A single-family residential district for the property located at 2021 East Ridge Road. This is second reading.
Since it's second reading, we'll forego the presentation again, so can I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Moved by Forbeck, second by Blakely. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8B is consideration of ordinance number 3715, amending the zoning district map for the property located at 901 Harrison Avenue from R1B Single Family Residential District to PLI Public Lands and Institution District. This is also second reading.
This may be a second reading, but we will have a presentation on this from Community Development Director Julie Christensen.
So we received an application to rezone the property from R1B Single Family Residential District to PLI Public Lands and Institution Districts for the former Atonement Lutheran Church located at 901 Harrison Avenue. The church has ceased operations in fall of 2020 and has been listed for sale. The applicants have made an offer to purchase the property contingent upon the requested rezoning action. Because most institutional uses would require conditional use of those that they would want to do, they opted to apply for the rezoning rather than do a conditional use process. The idea at the front of their mind to do for this site is a daycare, but at this point, as far as we know, they don't have an operator, anyone who's ready to do that. When Plan Commission reviewed this at their June 23rd meeting, a motion was made to recommend approval of the rezoning, but failed on a 3-3 vote. And the 3 people who were opposed to the application aren't opposed to the daycare use. One of the members asked that I read all the potential uses, and there was a concern that that was too broad of a group, and there were some uses in there that could be problematic, like a wireless communication facility or a substation. And then that same board member asked if they could get the daycare with a conditional use with the current zoning, which they can. So they could apply for the conditional use for the daycare use, which would come through this same process and achieve that same goal of approving a daycare. So the 3 no votes was based on the concern with what door we were opening with the PLI zoning. And it is on your agenda for action tonight.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions, let me know.
Just to get on the floor, can I have a motion to approve? Moved by Duncan. Is there a second? Second by Keys. Any discussion? Start with Preschel.
Well, I was at the Plan Commission meeting, another question came up that I thought was interesting, because this has been a church forever. My parents were married there. And it's not zoned PLI, which, usually you would come to expect that, and I know you had an explanation for that, and I thought it was an interesting explanation. It introduced other considerations, so.
Well, essentially, churches are, fit in almost any neighborhood. And so they're allowed, or they're either permitted by right or conditional in almost any district. And so when you do a comprehensive plan or a rezoning, you don't necessarily zone every institution to PLI because they fit in with the existing residential district. And I think in this case, half of the Plan Commission felt like they were taking a gamble on what that would be and what that could do to the neighborhood. I think there was a comment made that the neighborhood is fragile, and a bad decision could cause a negative impact on that neighborhood.
And that was what I wanted to get to, was that it is a residential neighborhood. It is properly zoned right now, and the church is just happens to be the use. And there was no need in the past to change it to a PLI, and I don't think this particularly constitutes a need now to change it to a PLI. So I think I think the considerations brought forth by the commission at the meeting were valid, and I was just glad they came forth, so, because it wasn't clear from the outset.
Councilor Forbeck.
I just have a comment because we did talk about this. I mean, I think everybody's enthusiastic. It would be a wonderful place for a daycare. And it seems to me that taking a look at this and taking a look at changing the zoning or not changing the zoning, you can have it in a really clean way if you just ask, for it not to be changed. It's going to be a conditional use, and I just want to encourage the sale and the use of this building in this area for a daycare center. And so I'm going to be voting no, because I want them to get a conditional use permit and then just go ahead in this wonderful, clean, real way. Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
No.
The motion fails.
Item 8C is consideration of ordinance number 3712 to create sections 30.31, sub 3, sub D, and sub E of the Code of General Ordinances for the City of Beloit relating to sign area bonus for on-premise signs. This is second reading.
We will forego the presentation, so can I have a motion to approve? Moved by Levy. Is there a second? Second by Duncan. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8D is consideration of ordinance number 3720, annexing 2 vacant properties located immediately south of 2030 Porter Avenue to the City of Beloit. This is first reading.
Community Development Director Julie Christensen.
So the comprehensive plan amendment was on your agenda earlier this evening. This is the 2 vacant lots that I discussed earlier. They are proposing to be annexed, for them to be annexed from the town of Beloit into the City of Beloit. And as a reminder, it's related to the proposed redevelopment of an existing surface parking lot and vehicle storage lot located at 2030 Porter Avenue into an industrial service-related building with offices and shop space for local contractors. If approved, we would rezone the lots to M2 General Manufacturing District, and then they would be, the lots that are subject of this annexation would be proposed to be improved with off-street parking and landscaping as part of the redevelopment project. Plan Commission reviewed this item on July 7th and voted unanimously 4-0 to recommend approval of this request. This is on your agenda for first reading tonight.
Do we have a motion to lay this item over?
So moved.
Moved by Levy, second by Preschel. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8E is consideration of ordinance number 3721, annexing the property located at 2317 West Forest Avenue to the City of Beloit. This is also first reading.
Community Development Director Julie Christensen.
Raymond Vince has submitted the petition for direct annexation for the property located at 2317 West Forest Avenue in the town of Beloit. A failing septic system is the impetus for this request. In order to connect to the city's sewer system. It's a rental family dwelling on an existing septic system. They want to connect to the sanitary sewer. The right-of-way on both Forest and Frederick are already within the city, so it would just be annexing the parcel itself. This was sent to the state for their review, and the town of Beloit was notified of this request, and Plan Commission reviewed the item and recommended approval Voted unanimously to approve 4-0.
Thank you.
I move to suspend the rules.
I will second that.
Motion to suspend the rules by Forbeck, second by Preschel. Any discussion?
I just want to clarify that suspending the rules in this case is because it's a failed septic with a sewer hookup requirement. We want to expedite the process as much as possible.
Thank you. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now to the merits. Do we have a motion? Moved by Dunkin,
Second.
second by Preschel. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
8F is consideration of ordinance number 3717 to amend certain sections of the Index of Special Locations, Section 13.02 of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit relating to the removal of the no parking designations along Frederick Street near McNeil School. This is first reading.
Public Works Director Laura Williamson.
Good evening. You have before you a request to remove no parking along Frederick Street near McNeil School. The request came to the city from the assistant principal of McNeil Intermediate School. The request is to to allow parking along one side of Frederick. Currently, it is not allowed, so it would allow for parking on one side. School representatives feel that this would be a solution to help for the safety of the children when they're being dropped off and picked up from school. The cutouts, as are shown on your map, are near the driveways, and the existing cutout for cars to be able to just drop kids off and to easily leave or have access. Excuse me. And again, the staff believes at the school that this would be a safer condition for the students attending the school. This was brought before the Traffic Review Commission, and it is recommended for support.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to lay this item over?
So moved.
Moved by Preschel, second by Dunkin. Any discussion?
Just a question. I don't know if, when this comes back to us, if we could reach out to someone from the school, because my main thought, and I'm trying to visualize it, allowing cars to park there, usually when school starts, it's congested wherever it is where kids are. So I just want to make sure that removing this, you may have cars that park there now, and cars are trying to come around to drop the kids off. So I just want to make sure when we say it's safe, that we don't have a string of cars parking there, and then the kids that's trying to get, parents that's trying to drop their kids off, there's another line that whole street could be congested. And I just want to make sure that I'm thinking it through, and I'll drive out there too. But if I park, and then we got cars on the other side of the street, that's going to narrow it out. You're going to have people, in my view, walking in the street or driving around the parked cars to get into the driveway to drop their kids off. So I'm just trying to visualize it.
Absolutely. We will extend another invitation
Okay, thank you.
for attendance at the meeting. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And
Preschel?
at the Traffic Review Committee meeting, of course, we were hoping that we have a member from the school district present in that meeting. They weren't there. And this request came from the assistant principal of Neil. And the officer that's also a member of the Traffic Review Committee wasn't familiar enough with the area. And I had a concern, and so did Tom Larson on the committee, of the area directly in front of the building. That's the southerly section. And it's defined in the resolution as two different areas between Whipple Street and 520 feet north of Whipple Street. So that section there, which is immediately in front of the building, if that wasn't used for now, if there wasn't a strong use for that for contracted drop-off traffic transport type facilities, and maybe buses too, but we wanted a better, clearer understanding of what's going on in that particular area. I don't object to the rest of it, but I mean, it's that particular area looked concerning to me, and not being familiar with how that operates on a daily basis during school session. I wish I had somebody there to answer those questions. It's about that one section.
We certainly invited them to attend, and unfortunately, they were not able to. And we will definitely communicate to the staff at the school district that the council has requested someone to attend.
I just have this vision of removing all the parking as indicated here, and then finding out that once school starts, oh, we didn't mean that section. You guys, didn't you get our memo? Or, one of those kind of situations. And that's just, I remember when they requested the no parking in the first place, so I'm that old. So's Kevin. But anyway, I just wanted some kind of proof from the people that know that this is an okay move to make all the way around. So that was my concern.
Absolutely.
Councilor Duncan?
I wanted to say that I'm glad that we're moving this forward, but I think I just would like to hear from the staff, from the school, as to the safety. If there are safety vehicles that need to go in there, should something occur at the school, if there's an accident, can people get moved? Can the emergency people get through there to make sure they're safe? So that was one thing, and then two, just that, and I know we're going to do this, making sure that the public is informed, and I'm sure Sarah Locke will do a good job, our communications director, with that. So those are the only two things I had to add. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 8G is consideration of ordinance number 3718 to amend certain sections of the Index of Special Locations, Section 13.02 of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit, relating to the parking regulations at the City Hall parking lot. This is first reading, sorry.
Public Works Director Laura Williamson.
You are busy today.
Good evening again. You have before you a staff recommendation to designate some parking in the City Hall parking lot in anticipation of the stadium opening very soon, which is very exciting for the community. We recognize that at times there may be a need for parking also for people that are coming to conduct city business, not only staff, but also commissions and boards and members of those commissions and boards. So we want to ensure that there is parking nearby for those folks that are coming to conduct business. So with that, staff is recommending an area that would be designated and actually passes given to members of the commissions, committees, or staff for use of those parking stalls. And at times there may be some overlapping parking needs for parking in the downtown area, which is always a good problem to have, especially with the stadium opening very soon. So with that, this was brought before the Traffic Review Commission, and it was supported in favor, 4-0 vote. And as a part of that, staff is also recommending that the council would consider doing a second reading this evening with the game starting very soon, so that we can
15 days.
Be in position to have some of that much needed parking. Happy to answer any questions.
With that, I would like to move, we suspend the rules for a second reading.
Councilor Preschel has made a motion to suspend the rules. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Keys. Any discussion?
I just think that with the first game starting, or the first use of the stadium starting on the 29th, and the first Plan Commission meeting after the beginning of August and before this could be enacted, otherwise it would not be in effect yet, then we'll have a Plan Commission meeting with, and that's usually well attended. We need to get this ready to go for those two reasons. Okay? Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now to the merits. Do I have
Thank
a
you.
motion to approve? Moved by Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Forbeck. Any discussion?
Is a good problem to have.
Yes, that's right. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 9 is appointments, and the individuals to be named will be taken in one motion unless you want to separate them. There are two on your agenda this evening. The first is to the Board of Review, alternate member Sean Allen to a regular term ending December 31st, 22, and the Community Development Authority, Tracy Dumas, replacing Jason Rowland to a term ending December 31st, 2021.
Can I have a motion to approve?
I so moved.
Moved by
I'll second
Blakely,
that.
second by Preschel. Any
I would like to add something, because it's come up so much tonight. The Traffic Review Committee has 2 vacancies. I thought maybe we'd have one on our agenda today, but we didn't. Anyway, we have 2 vacancies for Traffic Review, and as you can see, it actually does come up on the agenda occasionally that with business that we need to conduct. So we have that appointment, we have that vacancy, and the Plan Commission has a new vacancy too. So And and 2 vacancies for on the Alcohol Beverage License Control Committee. So those are the big ones. Anyway, thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 10 is councilor activities and upcoming events.
Start with Vice President Keys tonight.
I have no report this evening, thank you.
Councilor Levy? Okay, Councilor Blakely.
I'll report in a good loud voice. I don't think I'm on mic.
You
I am?
You are.
Oh, well, I'll calm down a little bit then. Thank you very much. As the council representative to the Beloit Public Library Board, I also attend meetings of the Arrowhead Library System. We met last week. Nick Damasis, our director for Beloit Library, was there. One of the librarians brought up all of the activities going on at libraries in the Arrowhead system, including Beloit Library. So I recommend that people take a really good look at the Beloit Library website, drop by the library, and for those of you suffering from the humidity and heat, a visit to the library is a free and welcome place to go. It is one of the city's official cooling sites. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Duncan?
I only had a couple meetings. I went to the Greater Beloit Economic Development Investment and Recruitment meeting, and also to our farmers market. And I came to the end of Fridays at the park. So we have a lot of fun events going on. I encourage you to take advantage of those. I don't think I had my speaker on. I encourage the community to take advantage of those, and also be sure and check out the weekly construction updates on our Facebook page. So thank you. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Councilor Preschel?
Well, I just want to say that the library is cool. Just wanted to let you know. Simple, short version. So I did attend I've been hanging out at the Nature at the Confluence site. Cameras at the Confluence have returned last week, and there'll be another session next week. I'm just a spectator participant there now, and it was a great turnout. We had a lot of people there, and a bunch of kids, lots of kids. That was really great to see. The monarchs this weekend were swarming. It was quite a shock to walk through the cloud of monarchs over there. So that's a great little spot, and it's just a short little walk over the Dairy Ripple when you're done. So with that, I hope to get out to the farmers market soon. It's prime time for the farmers market, so thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Forbeck?
Yeah, I'd like to say that this weekend, I actually attended 2 Snappers games. The one Friday night and the last game, which was on Sunday afternoon. And I have a couple comments. The first is, the Snappers started in 1982. And I'm telling you, we had a core of volunteers that kept it going. So now we can be one of the few places in the United States, and I believe we are certainly the smallest market that kept ours. 40 of the minor league courses were closed. I mean, in New York City, they closed 2. I mean, so I want to just say thank you to that core of volunteers who, through really hell and high water and broken lights and demands for improvements in that stadium, they kept it up and enabled this wonderful thing to happen. One other quick comment, for people who, like me, frankly, hadn't been there for a couple years, the level of baseball being played there is magnificent. With all these other places now closed, we've got such a high caliber of players playing. It was a joy even for me to watch the fielding and really watching. It was wonderful. Got to chat with some people who come up from Chicago, knowing it was the last this is really an historic game on Sunday afternoon. And then talking to one of the mothers of one of our darling young players and she's from Atlanta, and she said, I'm just growing just to love your nice little city here. You know, I mean, it spreads out, that small group of volunteers. It's like the nature at the confluence. That starts with an idea and people who are willing to work. So I'm just very enthused about it and thrilled about what we're gonna get to have right here in downtown Beloit. So that's all.
Thank you. And that kind of leads into something I was going to say too. I unfortunately wasn't at that last game, but it's nice that we have a great group of people that have stepped up to build us a new stadium, because
Beautiful.
that last game could have been really sad. It could have been our last game forever.
It
But
would have
now-
been. It absolutely would have been.
But
Yep.
now we have a beautiful stadium.
Yep.
It's one heck of an upgrade. It's, night and day. So it's really great that we have it. And, there are a lot of great memories at Pullman Field, but I'm sure we'll make plenty of great memories at ABC Supply
yeah.
Stadium. Going on to some of my comments, so it was 2 weekends ago, I went to the Merrill Community Garden and planted a white oak tree with several volunteers, and thankfully I only had to plant one, and I left because they had to do two, and it's tougher than you think. So it was definitely great. If you haven't been to the garden, go check it out. Caleb Lowkrantz, the garden coordinator, has done wonders with that place. It has just changed dramatically in the last couple years. He's done a great job. Also, get out and sign up for committees. We definitely have a lot of openings. I know Councilor Preschel mentioned that. We need people to fill those out. They're very important. And, people always say, like, they want to be involved. Well, here's your chance. That is your chance to be involved. We listen to our committees. We trust our committees. They're doing a lot of the homework, too. So definitely get involved, sign up. We need people to do that. And the last thing I will want to congratulate Councilor Dunkin on her new appointment to the Wisconsin Housing Preservation Corporation. She was appointed by her governor, and she was approved, and now she's going to be serving on that board representing the city of Beloit. So congratulations, Regina.
I didn't know that. That's cool, Gina.
And that ends my report.
Okay, there are no items under item 11. So item 12, under reports from boards and city officers, 12A, the city council may adjourn into closed session pursuant to section 19.85 sub 1E of Wisconsin statutes to deliberate or negotiate the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other special public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Namely, to discuss the following: an offer to purchase approximately 1,128 square feet of property owned by the school district of Beloit for right-of-way purposes at the northeast corner of 6th Street and North Street. The council will reconvene into open session to possibly take action on the matters discussed in closed session.
Do you have a motion to go into closed session? Moved by Duncan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Keys. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now in closed session.
Can we just stay here?
No. say aye.
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 We're now back in open session.
We have a resolution 2021-105 approving an offer to purchase between the City of Beloit and the School District of Beloit for the purchase of a portion of 1304 4th Street, Beloit, Wisconsin.
Got a motion to approve. Moved by Levy, second by Keys. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Final motion is adjournment.
I so move.
Second.
By Forbeck, second by Preschel. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Wow, I looked at this agenda and I thought we'd be here till at least 8:30.